Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Wisteria Lane Logs. Before we get started, be sure to click subscribe and click the bell to get notifications on all upcoming film and television content. In the last episode of Wisteria Lane Logs, we covered the second episode, But Underneath. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link in the description below. In this third episode, Pretty Little Picture, it begins with the unsettling reality that Bree's divorce with her husband Rex is kicking in, and it wakes her up in the middle of the night. However, we learn that Bree is willing to do anything to fix her marriage, whereas her husband Rex is the complete opposite. When Susan checks the morning paper one morning, she realizes it's the day of Mary Alice's dinner party, something that she planned before she killed herself. So Susan takes it upon herself to still go through with the dinner party as a way to honor Mary Alice. As we go through every household on the lane, from the Vandekamps, the Solises, and even the Scavos, where all the husbands don't want to go, and every single woman does. This is also our first introduction to Carl Meyer, Susan's ex-husband. And we can see that even despite their daughter Julie trying to remain civil between her parents, her father and her mother simply cannot agree on anything. Here, we are also introduced to one of Carl's many girlfriends throughout the show, in Brandy. We are then shown inside the young home, where it's just Paul and Zachary. Here, the home looks and feels empty. There's nothing inside the cabinets behind them, and we learn that Paul Young hasn't even put in an obituary yet for his deceased wife. We also learn in this scene that Paul never seems to talk about Mary Alice at all, and we can clearly see that there's tension between Zachary and his father. It's clear to see that the death of Mary Alice has really broke this entire family, as it seems there's no connection of a father and son relationship between Zachary and his father Paul at all. Later on, we can see that the affair between Gabrielle and John is still ongoing, only to her surprise that she almost gets busted by a little girl patrolling the neighborhood. Also doing their fair share of snooping around is Zachary, who finds the gun that Mary Alice used to kill herself with in the garage. We watch Zachary confront his father Paul about this gun. However, the two are treated to a knock at the door, of that being Bree Vandekamp wanting to invite the two to the dinner party. Unbeknownst to Bree, Paul has the gun behind Zachary's back the entire time while she's at the door. This scene is so tense, startling, and really gives us an inside look at what life is really like inside the Young home. While earlier in the episode, Rex was permitted to not drink at the dinner party because when he drinks, he begins to talk. And while at the party, Rex lets it slip that he and Bree are in marriage counseling and they're really not taking tennis lessons at all. After the tension between Paul and Zachary cooled off, thanks to Paul giving Zachary some sleeping pills, Paul sees on the news that the police uncovered the chest that he thought he dumped in the water for good. The news channel states that it appears to be human remains inside the chest. So now we know what is inside the chest, but we don't know who the remains belong to. Meanwhile, back at the dinner party, everyone decides to share embarrassing stories about one another over dinner. As earlier in the episode, we saw Susan run naked around her house only to get busted by Mike. While this is all for fun and games to break the ice, Bree takes it a bit too far as she decides to take this opportunity to completely embarrass her husband Rex. This causes Rex to leave the party and eventually move out. With her marriage in shambles, Bree takes it upon herself to visit Dr. Goldfine to ask for permission of her husband's audio tapes. While she's secretly looking for Rex's tapes, she uncovers the tapes of Mary Alice and decides to steal them. The episode ends with a banging sound, resulting in Susan and Gabrielle and Bree to look out their window, as we discover that the banging sound is none other than Paul Young putting his house up for sale. I hope you enjoyed another episode of Wisteria Lane Logs. What are your thoughts about this episode? Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. For more film and television analysis, keep it locked here, right here, on this channel.